Hey everyone, it's Ivan with kitbatcher.com, here today to tell you about my new tattoos I got from Hawk over at Sovereign Tattoo. With respect to the new tattoo I wanted to get that turned into a couple of tattoos, here's how that started, I guess. A little bit of backstory. So a while back, did a video on my Moto tats, Semper Fidelis. Ironically, a lot of people are like, oh, is that Elvish? And I'm like, kind of. I mean, it's a dead language, Latin. And with that, I had been thinking about getting a tattoo, Memento Mori. Also a dead language, not Elvish, Latin. So remember you must die. The idea or the reminder that you're alive and you will die. So with that in mind, like, continue to live and continue to live in a good way. And so I was sitting there one night with my boys and I was like, hey, Jada, thinking about getting a tattoo, thinking about having it say, remember you must die. And he's like, it's kind of morbid, Dad. Why not just get a Tacocat? But you do you. And so I was like, all right, I will do me. So fast forward, I was actually down at Thunder Ranch and I met this gentleman named Hawk. Amazing tattoo artist. He was down there shooting in the same class I was. Really cool guy. Ended up getting into talking and it was like, oh, like you do tattoos. Ended up checking out his work. Incredibly talented. And I was like, hey man, I want to get this tattoo. Like, would you be game? And he's like, yeah, sure, man. And I told him what it was and he was like, just kind of laughed. He's like, that is so far out of like what I usually do, but I'll do it for you. So ended up packing up Peanut, headed down to Portland, down to Sovereign Tattoo. The Sovereign Tattoo shop, pretty cool, right there on Division Street in Portland. And I think Hawk has had that shop open in that location for like 11 years now. He's been tattooing, I want to say like 31 years. Incredibly talented, like got into it back when there was a serious barrier for entry. Like one, you had to kind of like make your tools, like old school blacksmith stuff where you would get a bunch of pins, or like loose stuff. You basically had to make your own tattoo needles and stuff. So you had to have someone kind of take you under and like show you how to do stuff. And so, yeah, how to mix your own pigments and stuff like that. Pretty wild. He was telling me just kind of some of the backstory, really interesting. But he originally, or we had talked beforehand rather, I was like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And got there, he's like, how about this? And I was like, I don't really like that. Maybe something more like this. And so we got after it. I started sketching up some different stuff and I was like, what about maybe incorporating these? And so big picture, we ended up kind of going back and forth, bouncing off ideas. And originally it was just going to be lettering, but kind of couldn't figure out how to do it kind of the way I wanted, or how it would actually look good and read well. So I was like, all right, kind of what are some ways we can tackle this? And I'd actually seen a while ago this kind of like woodblock print of Grim Reaper. And I liked it. One, I liked kind of the style of woodblock, but the other part of it is it wasn't like really dark or cartoony either. It was just pretty neutral, which frankly I think death is pretty neutral. Like, doesn't have a lot of like malice one way or the other. Like, it's out there doing his job at the end of the day. Like, it's part of the cycle. So got B to Z sketching, kind of incorporating this skull, kind of woodblock, and then with that, kind of this dagger that I had sketched with like a bone crossguard and kind of making it come together. Of course, we needed a lettering in there, so basically incorporating a banner that was wrapping around the dagger. Hawk, incredibly talented, was going through, and while I definitely liked where it was going, the direction, kind of like the idea of the skull not being totally symmetrical and kind of looking off into the distance some. So he managed to sketch that up too and basically start incorporating these different parts and putting it all together. it was all coming together and it was really neat. Managed to get it over to the printer, got it printed off, kind of took a look at it, like scale-wise, where it fit on the arm, everything along those lines. And right about that time, finally got a hold of my boys, because multiple tattoos, right? Like different parts of it. And so talking with my boys, I was like, hey, listen, here's what I need you to do. I need you guys to each write "you do you" and draw me a quick Tacocat, and then take a picture and send it to me. They're like, okay, hung up, boom, sent. And I was like looking at these two, I'm like, all right, which one do I like better? And honestly, I really liked both of them. So I was like, well, which one will maybe read better? And I finally decided on Jada's Tacocat and Ira's lettering. So again, taking those images, dropping them into imaging software over on the iPad Pro. Hawk did an incredible job, basically transferring every single little detail of both the drawing of the Tacocat as well as that lettering of "you do you." And once again, got those things printed out to the correct scale and basically laid everything out. And I was like, is this where we want it? Because no going back. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. So then basically turned it into a transfer. Again, ran it through the machine, turned into kind of like this ink transfer, and put it on there. And again, like, hey, is this lined up? Is that how you want it? And I'm like, yeah, sure, looks good. So away he went, starting tattoo.
But you have done nothing about it because you lack the self-confidence to give you a start. In other words, you are now where Henry Ford was before he built the first model of his world-famous automobile. Mr. Ford broke through that wall of fear, which may now be holding you back, and put his idea into operation by making use of the mastermind principle I mentioned in our second visit, through an alliance with his wife. Now, the question I wish to ask you is this: why don't you form a mastermind alliance with someone and begin putting your ideas to work for you?
He ended up doing an incredible job. I think all said, it's probably like hour and a half or something like that in the chair. It wasn't super terribly long, but he did an amazing job. So pleased with it. The whole kind of knife, remember you must die motif had that whole kind of woodblock feel to it. And then my boy's Tacocat, "you do you." I love it. Like, I love everything about it. And granted, half the time, this watch usually rides over here. Probably be covered up by my watch band, but that one's absolutely for me. Like, super stoked with it.
Oh, it's on your right arm.
Oh, wait. Oh,
Left arm. Never mind.
Are you sure you're ready?
Yep.
Like, yes.
So that is exactly
Like
your
exactly?
Tacocat that you drew.
Dang.
And that right there, Ira, is exactly your handwriting. let each had a part of it.
That is so cool.
Pretty sweet, man.
That
This
is
better.
It's so cool how he did it like exactly as it was drawn.
Perfectly.
Yeah,
Let's
like,
not bang
This
on it.
this is
Cool.
absolutely
sorry.
way better than this. Just that, like
That's
the
so
artwork
cool.
is like so much.
Should I get
that
this
guy
other one
is
removed?
such
Yeah,
a
you should
tattoo.
definitely.
Yeah, right.
He
It
is
takes away
such
from
a
the
good
amazing.
tattoo artist.
Super good tattoo artist. Is that awesome or what?
Yeah.
I love it.
Did you like print out a stencil or something?
Basically, came out very good. I'm
That's
stoked.
what's funny is like one eye's bigger and one eye's
Oh yeah,
smaller.
because you drew it exactly like that.
I know. I love it.
Me too.
Because I
It was an incredible time down there, and it's amazing how talented Hawk is. Granted, this was really simple for him and well outside of his norm. He does some kind of like classic Americana stuff, but what he kind of really does is large Japanese, like traditional pieces, like back all the way down to like upper thighs, or chest pieces, arm, like the whole nine. Really incredible work. And that's largely what he does. But in that shop there's actually 3 stations, one of which is Hawk's. Other one belongs to Harry. Again, really talented. He can pretty much do anything. And they have all kinds of, incredible artwork. Like if you go to any of the Instagrams, they'll be linked down below. You can see their work. And something else that's really cool is that 3rd station there is where Nina is working, Hawk's daughter. Pretty sure she's 18, like started just after finishing her senior year in an apprenticeship. So she's apprenticing there, learning all of it, to include just like how to run a business, which really, really cool, like pretty amazing. Something else that's pretty neat too is like kind of how deep into it Hawk is as well. So it's like shooting. Like some people shoot guns and they're proficient, which is cool. And then you have people that also like build guns and shoot guns and are incredibly proficient at both, which is amazing. And so kind of in this world, Hawk is actually I think like the US repair center for Cheyenne, basically tattoo guns, or what do they call them? Machines, I guess, tattoo machines. And it's pretty cool. He was showing me the shop and stuff like that. And yeah, like he has basically this backlog of history, like building his own like power supplies, stuff like that, like coming up through the ranks from 30 plus years ago in tattoos. And now he also does that in addition to all of his tattoo work that he does, which is pretty neat. Again, someone who kind of embodies like both sides of it, like the application as well as the tools, things like that, which I don't know. I find that stuff fascinating. I think it's pretty cool. Overall, super pleased with all of it. Amazing artwork, really appreciated being able to kind of go back and forth with Hawk and refine that design. Not to mention my boys, You Do You. He did an incredible job of pulling their imagery and letters, and yeah, I couldn't be happier. All in all, incredible experience, and yeah, super talented people across the board, whether it's Hawk, Harry, or Nina. Like as an apprentice, it was cool seeing her to get her work too. But if you're looking for a tattoo, I would encourage you to vet who is ever gonna do it, because it's there forever. Down below, there'll be links to not only the tattoo shop, but also the Instagrams for those respective artists. You can check out their work, and if you end up in Portland, something lines up, yeah, schedule something. Cool stuff. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadge.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.